Underdog. Damn. Unleash the power.
Jayson Waller here, True Underdog podcast. Underdogs out there, I am excited about today's show. I have the power couple of New York joining me today. We got Vanessa Deleon and Bobby Bournias. I think I said that correct.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, see, I tried real hard. Vanessa is an American interior designer, blogger, television personality, been on numerous shows, and has brand licenses in furniture and design. She also helped out with My House, which is badass. And Bobby is an award-winning restaurant and chef owner. This guy has created something that is amazing. He's the owner of a Brownstone Pancake Factory. You guys got to check that out on Instagram. I'm talking high-end dessert, epic pancakes, waffles, you name it. All these things are these items that look just fantastic and add calories, especially during a pandemic. And I'm super excited. I know, Vanessa, you've been on HGTV, you've been on Bang for Your Buck Design Star, and with Terry Crews Saves Christmas. You got a lot of high-end cool friends and celebrity friends that you guys hang out with and roll with up in there in New York. How is it going to the power couple right now?
It's going great, actually. I mean, considering the circumstances this whole year, it's been a whirlwind of up and downs and feeling of insecurities and roller coasters. But I think as a power couple pushing through and making sure we're not stagnant and move forward, these hurdles that came our way, we were able to overcome them.
Yeah, and for me, Jayson, in this industry, in the restaurant industry, it's been very challenging with sort of limited capacity and, for a while, no indoor dining. But it's given us the opportunity to really sort of think outside the box, to pivot and figure out ways to stay sort of relevant. Mm-hmm. And, thankfully, we've been successful at it. So, we've been doing car hop service, serving people in the parking lot with roller skates. We did.
I roller skated.
These DIY home kits that we now ship nationwide through Goldbelly. So, and kind of created like side hustles because of what we had to deal with. So as entrepreneurs, it's been sort of exciting because it sort of made us kind of think outside of our sort of comfort zone and kind of like almost reinvent ourselves. So it's been great.
Yeah, I've watched, both of your guys' stuff on Instagram, and, it's amazing for some of the things you did there in New York during the pandemic, and that you guys created this side hustle. You didn't take no for an answer. And the unique thing, this show with you guys is about passion, progression, and power, but also a couple coming together. It's rare that you have two entrepreneurs in the same house, right? It's usually not enough sunshine for two people. Like, there's just not, right? There's just not. It's like, I'm getting the sunshine, you're getting the shade. Sorry. That's how it usually works. And that's been the perception. And what's amazing about you two, and that excites me about today's show, is that there is enough sunshine. There is enough room for you to do your thing, Bobby, and for you to do your thing, Vanessa, and really be a power couple that's influencing the world, doing what your goals and dreams desire, not taking no for an answer, bonding together when need be, and still raising a family, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have our own sort of businesses, but we also collaborate. So, we're actually going tomorrow. We built this gorgeous mobile truck for events and stuff like that for Brownstone, which will be launching in another month or so. We were just in our new location down in Ocean County in Brick. And, Vanessa was there with me, measuring stuff, going over stuff, designing. So for me, it's phenomenal to have her as sort of my, wife, because she really is influential in what we do. So I don't think.
I texted him today. I said, did you just marry me because you want to use me for my design talent?
I go, honey, I need outdoor chairs. I need this, I need that. I need these drawings. And, but it's good. She does say I'm her worst client.
Oh,
she goes, I'm the biggest pain in the ass, but
Well, that's how it's supposed to be, but she does have an eye for talent. She's very edgy, and she's cool, and she's badass. Some of the work she did at our house, I'm like, holy crap, I've got this biggie, King of Brooklyn wallpaper. It's just unreal. Our bathroom's unreal. I'm like, holy.
The bathroom came out so amazing.
Oh, it's
Jayson, when we built our home here, because I love design. That's one of the things when we met. Like, I love walking into a restaurant, a hotel, and just sort of admiring the different textures, the way, room flow. And we always talked about stuff like that. So when we built our home, I tried to kind of put in my 2 cents and what have you, but like nothing happened. Like she goes, yeah, I like that idea, but we're not doing that.
She took all the sunshine on the house building. Right? All the sunshine went Vanessa's way.
And some of the things that she wanted to do, I was like, oh man, I really don't know about this. But it's funny, you got to sort of have faith in the artist, because when it all comes together, then you realize where the talent is, right? It's hard to sort of see it in a rendering or in one room, but when it all kind of comes together, it's really amazing. I couldn't have dreamt of a better home. So
that's awesome. So Vanessa, we'll start with you. You were on the show, I think earlier, like March or April of 2020 when the pandemic first really started. And, we got to dig a little bit into, you winning some awards and really, you were on The Apprentice with, former President Trump. You were on the show and selected out of 500,000 contestants. And you've been on so many other shows. And you've been such an influence out there. You got a great following. You've got a great knack, like your husband says, an eye to really create things. You're a fantastic artist. People might not know what's going on. All of a sudden it comes out and it's like, wow. What are some of the obstacles that early in your career that you struggled with, where you had to lean on Bobby, that you had to lean on him to be that partner to get you through things?
So this is tough because I've always told Bobby that I never want to be in a position where I need to lean on anyone, especially Bobby, because he's my husband. And there's something about the pride and ego for myself that it's a tough pill to swallow. I would rather go to a bank or something before I ask Bobby for $1, and he would give it to me without question, wouldn't even ask me questions. I could probably take it. He'd be like, oh, did you even take the
Yeah.
But for me, my pride and my ego, just because of how I was raised, I would not ever want to be in that position. However, there's been times in my career that I needed him for legal advice. He's a former attorney. So I lean on him pretty hardcore for stuff, for things like that. We had an issue with the building, has nothing to do with me, but they countersued my client and everybody who was around my client. And he's helped me for situations like that. So I lean on him for legal advice. When I freak out and I see these bills, with the attorney sending me, he's like, don't worry, I have you. Like, I always have you. But like I said, I never want to be in that position that I need to have him for a situation like that. But I do, like, for example, for clients, if it's a tough client and I'm like, I don't know if I should even take on this job. He's like, you don't need it. Don't take it. Do it because you love it, not because you need it. And that was always difficult for me because I took on everything in the beginning of my career because I needed it.
Right.
So
I've been a great advisor, Jayson. The truth is, there's many times that she comes to me because I see, after a long day, of working, she'll come to me, she'll complain about X, Y, and Z. And I say to her, listen, like, what you do is art, and people have to appreciate that. And if they don't, there's enough people out there that do appreciate it. And you got to sort of pick, the right clients and put your energy in the right place. Because sometimes when you work with people that take that energy away, all it does is just affect your, final product.
And it does, and it did. And I told myself that I'm going to listen to Bobby because I would be in these situations, and then the design wasn't what I wanted, and then all that energy and effort, and it was like, it wasn't what I expected it to be, and then the project was so difficult, and the client was so difficult, and I should have just listened to him from the beginning.
I think that's really cool, and the listeners and viewers out there can pick up on, he's the advisor in the background sometimes, like Wizard of Oz when you need him, but when you don't need him, you have it, and you've got a lot of pride and hunger to be successful, and I can appreciate that. My background makes me never want to owe anybody anything. I never want to lean on anybody because I feel indebted, even to my wife, who I love dearly. I don't want to feel like I owe her something, so I understand what you're saying, but also she advises me on things that I don't see, because when we're in that grind, and we'll get to Bobby in a minute, and I'm sure you're on the other side of that for him too. But when we're in the grind, we only see what's in front of us. We're in the forest. We see the trees, and, having somebody who has our back and understands things a little different. I look at life as like a puzzle, right? So you're this piece, Vanessa, and Bobby's this piece, and it fits. And then your family different. You can't be the same, because if you're the same, it just doesn't work. You're different, but you have similarities. And so he'll see things that you don't see, it sounds like, and give you that wisdom you need. And I think that that's important, because a lot of people out there they're not humble enough to ask, hey, what do you think? And it does two things. One, it's pulling your guard down to be open and receptive to, hey, this is something I can look at. I didn't look at it that way because I'm grinding and I'm in the woods. I only see the trees in front of me. That's a great idea. But it also allows, because especially as a husband, but a spouse, you're empowering them to be involved. You're empowering them to have some kind of an outlook or a part of what you're doing. And I think that's important to feel needed. You agree, Bobby?
Absolutely. And Vanessa's come to me over the years with a lot of, ideas and things that she had. And I always tell her, like, I'm there, whatever you need, I'm there to support you. Don't ever be concerned. If it's a huge capital expenditure, I'm like, I would say, screw it. Let's just do it. If you believe in it, let's just do it. And, that support is significant, right? Because just having that on your side, and it goes both ways. Yeah. But Jayson, the one thing that I tell Vanessa, and this is something that I hold true to myself, you got to truly believe in what you do. You got to love what you do. You got to have passion for what you do, and just don't do it for the money, right? So, like, even in design, it's not just about taking every single client. It's about taking those clients that's going to allow you to be an artist, allow you to kind of create that environment. And the same holds true for me. Like, I always tell people, they think I'm in the food industry. I'm not in the food business. I'm in the sort of like, experience business. Like, people come to my restaurant and they have an experience. They have these over the top shakes and pancakes. And that's sort of my business model. And because that's truly what I love. I can't just sit there and just, flip a pancake and say, here, give me your money and go. Like, there's got to be that sort of level of, back and forth with your clients and your customers.
And I feel like the clients feel that. They feel the love, they feel that energy. And I think that if you feel energy,
it's just passion. I hear passion from both of you. You both are very passionate about what you're doing. And Bobby, when you started out as an attorney, Vanessa mentioned.
Yes.
And, what made you transition to the restaurant business?
Jayson,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I got to tell you, I came from a Greek immigrant family that grinded in the restaurant industry. And the last thing they wanted me to do and my siblings to do was to be in that same industry. Mm-hmm. So they pushed us to go to school, and we listened. And, I excelled in law school. I worked at a big Wall Street law firm in Manhattan, lived in the city. But, after a few years, 5 years, I just wasn't happy. I was in a suit in a room and arguing over, I was in mergers and acquisitions, or arguing over, the definition of a material adverse effect, whatever, just like legal jargon. And I just wasn't happy. And, what I think always pushed me was hospitality. I loved, dealing with other people, seeing people being happy. And I went back to it. And it was a difficult move because, I was in this sort of career where I was doing very well financially, and I was looked upon amongst my friends and my family as, wow, you made it. But deep down, I wasn't happy. And it goes back to what I was saying, is like, you truly got to do what you love, because if you do, it's a lot easier. And I truly believe you can become a lot more successful. And that's what I did. I went from, corporate attorney to flipping pancakes and making pancake batter. And it's been 15 years, and I've been the happiest, and I truly enjoy what I do.
What you just said is so important. And success isn't about money. It's about being happy. It's about filling that void. Absolutely. There's teachers out there that are so underpaid, it's not even funny, but they're filling a void. They're very successful. People think, and that's the problem with the world today, is most people think that success is being rich or famous, and success is filling a hole. In fact, the more money you get, my therapist tells me this all the time, the more depressed you get, the more unhappy you get. You're like, what do I do now? It's a weird feeling. You must do what you love. If you love something, and that's an amazing story too, Bobby, by the way. Your parents don't want you to have the same lifestyle. You got to go to school, go to college, be better. That's the mindset all of us growing up had from our parents. You must, you must, you must. It was a lot of pressure. You go and you do that and you're like, hey, I've made it. You got your friends, you got your peers, you got your family proud of you, but you're unhappy. You're like, this isn't for me. So you go back and do something you love and build it from the ground up. And you took a chance. And I'm sure you had a lot of haters, a lot of people that told you, what are you doing? You're nuts. Naysayers, right? What was that like? Was that more motivation for you?
Yeah, it was. And it's funny. A lot of people, when they heard that I decided to make that jump, they're like, oh, he must have gotten fired. He probably wasn't good.
Isn't that
Why
crazy?
would you ever do that? And almost like looking down upon my decision. But again, Jayson, mentioning money, right? I'm going to tell you something. It's a true story. When I was younger, and right when I was an attorney, being a young kid in my early 20s, like thinking of success and working hard, I kept on thinking of the Ferraris and this and that, what have you. Then I get into what I really, truly love to do. And I'm working so much more because I'm so into what I'm doing. I don't even have time to buy the stuff that I now can buy because I truly enjoy doing what I do.
That's awesome.
So it's like, when we're done with this, I'm going to go back to the restaurant. We're trying to tweak our pancake batter. And it's phenomenal the way it is. But I always want to make it better. Maybe if we had a little rice flour, it's going to make it a little more, I'm just like, I'm a lunatic. But, it's what I love. It's what I truly like to do. And, we're opening up our other store. We're hopefully going to open many more thereafter. And again, it's for me, it's growth. It's not about money. It's about building the brand, growing the business. And we actually had this conversation the other night is that, Walt Disney's not alive, but Disney is very well alive. And I want to create something, a legacy where even when I'm not here, like my kids and my grandkids, the Brownstone Pancake Factory is something that everyone still knows, and it's still open, it's still thriving, still creating those experiences for families well beyond my own life. And so to me, that's what I'm building. I'm not building a restaurant. I'm not building a place that sells pancakes. It's more than that to me. And that's sort of what drives me, and it drives Vanessa to kind of do what we do.
That's why you both are successful, because you love what you do, and it's not about the money. You're chasing legacy. You're chasing success. You're chasing growing the brand and leaving something bigger and better and helping people out there for the enjoyment of an experience. One thing I want to touch base on, and then I want to get back to Vanessa real quick. In my opinion, there are three kinds of people in this world, and three categories of people, and all of us have been in all three. And you said something about people said, oh, I might have been fired. So category one I call are the dreamers, the lovers, the motivators, the doers, the ones that appreciate and love to see successful people because they want to learn from them. They want to coach. They want to be coached. They get excited for success. They get excited to let people, to have people follow their dreams. They dream themselves. That's category one, right? Category two, in my opinion, are the ones that are always intimidated. Think of Homer Simpson going back into the bushes. We've all seen that meme. Those are the ones that maybe have fallen off when you become successful and you weren't, or they doubted you. They didn't say anything. That's a different group. That's group three. But they doubted you, and then now you've outgrown them in their opinion. So they're really insecure and they fall off. Right? You lose those relationships. They're not bitter, but they're insecure with their own selves where they feel like you've outgrown. There's that group in that category. And then and the third one is what I call the haters, the complainers, the bitchers, the naggers, the excuse makers, the ones that are like, oh, he did that because he got fired. He did, their failure, your success is their failure, and and you cheated success, and that's why they're failing. And they're so worried watching you. Right? Or watching the people in the one that I always tell them, get their popcorn and goobers ready because we're going to put on a show. And if you're watching me and I'm watching me, then that's two people watching me. I've got some shit to do. And I think that all of us have been in every one, at least I know I have, in every one of those categories at some time of our life. I've been a three before where I go, there's no way that guy must be juicing. How did he get that big? Or how did he do that? I've been there. I've been there. I've been in two where it's like, oh my goodness. But I house myself mostly every day that that I can in category 1. And you two do that as well. You seem to love success. You help each other embody success. You give each other tips. It's not about the money. When you chase the money, you're screwed. When you chase building an experience, something that is helping and empowering other people, building a brand for your employees, for your staff, for the future, for the name. You know, you and Vanessa are doing something special. That is what real success looks like. It's not about what's in your bank account, because happiness, you can't buy that.
Yeah,
you got to feel that, right?
Absolutely. I agree with you, Jason, 100%.
Good. So I want to talk about those 3 kinds of people, because when you brought up fired, I was like, oh, I know those people all the time. I see those folks and I get excited. I need those kind of people. I love them.
Jason, it's funny. I tell people all the time, like, I love when I'm hated on. Yeah. I really do, because I know I'm doing something right.
That's right.
Right? Because if I wasn't doing anything and I was just on the sidelines and really just being a nobody, no one would even give a shit, right?
That's right.
But doing what we do, pushing the envelope every single day, people are going to hate on you. And the more hate that comes, the more it empowers us and the more we do.
And the more they're watching you, which means, guess what? You're winning, because you're watching yourself. You're not watching them, and they're watching you. It's like, this is great. I always say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I'll take all I can get. Talk about me. Don't talk about me. Like me. Don't like me. As long as you're paying attention, I'm winning. And that's what it's about, right? So I love that. Now, Vanessa, with you, you've been on a lot of TV shows, and I'm sure, you know, you said you kind of had a hard knock life growing up. You're as tough as nails. I think Bobby knows that. You know, you're a badass, and I think that that's what your personality is. But that's also, I think that's what your brand is, what your company is. It's edgy, it's powerful, it's unique. It's get out of my way, let me do this, and watch what happens at the end. Explain some of the the obstacles you've had to overcome. And I wouldn't say obstacles, some of the hatred that you had as your success started to grow.
Oh gosh, I can write a book.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
I think one that sticks out a lot is there's an association called the American Society of Interior Designers. And I remember going to sit down in this meeting to be affiliated with this association, which is a pretty big deal. And I remember I showed my portfolio and I was there for my interview and I had all my credentials. And I remember the woman pushing back and she gave me the portfolio and she goes, why don't you come back to me in a few more years when you finish your education and when you expand on your portfolio? And I don't know, I was so confident that I was going to be a part of this association. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. And walking in and then seeing her say that to me, I was taken back. Then obviously things like that make me want to work harder and prove her wrong. So years later, I'm sitting on a panel, and it's a panel about growing your success, social media, and entrepreneurship. And I'm on this panel, and I look down, and right across from me is this woman who had given me back my portfolio and said, come to me in a few years when you grow your portfolio and you finish your education.
Oh.
And she's here listening to me. That was the best feeling. I called you right after that day.
I remember.
Promise?
Yeah.
That was the best feeling, because it just goes to show, number one, you can't burn bridges because you're going to cross them one day in your life, right? And number two is that 360 that just happened. Like, life always just kind of goes around and you just right back and you just sit. She's literally sitting in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if she knows that this is me. That was me the day that she was sitting there.
She knows. She knows. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that was like, I always remember that was my early 20s. And I was like, oh my gosh, this can't be happening right now. And I remember sitting next to me was this builder locally, Mike, and I'm like, I need to tell somebody. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you what's going on right now. But many, even from peers to, clients that were in the beginning of my career that were very difficult to deal with, had then want to hire me later on. And, I'm in a different position in my career, and, the pushback that I get on that, there's just so many. And the younger, the millennials, if you would, and I don't want to have a bad stigma with their names, the millennials, right? But a lot of them look at me or email me or message me and say, oh, you're so lucky. You just got, it's luck, like where you are. and they all want to emulate the same path that I'm going in, and they try, but there's only one Vanessa.
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm my only competition. So I don't really look at them or look at what they're doing because, you gotta be like with the horses with the side things in Central Park. You just gotta look forward. But I know that, my peers, younger people are always constantly wanting to be me or try to open up their own company and do things like me. And it's so apparent. But what are you going to do? You can't really do anything.
It's flattering, right? Isn't it flattering?
And when they do things verbatim, that's also really flattering too, because I'm like, wow, this is really apparent, and everybody around them is going to know that. Yeah. But yeah, I experience it every single day to this day.
I think converting a hater to a fan is the best feeling. I mean, by far. I even had it with my in-laws. They were like, look at this trailer park trash you're with, Liz. Why would you date him? I mean, her mom wanted to invest in our business, a couple of the businesses. I fly her mom first class to Disney last week. Oh, I got it, Tish. Don't worry, I got that, right? She's the biggest fan there is, and God bless her. I mean, it's different now, but she was as judgmental and as hateful as the world comes. And I don't bring it up to her. She may hear it on the podcast. She may not. When I talk about it, it's in the book, whatever. But I believe people need to own their own shit. And she's got to deal with that. But that prejudgment, that's part of my motivator. Now she's a fan, but it happens all the time. Peers, people in the security industry, when I went to solar, you're out of your mind. You dealt with it I think that's an exciting feeling where someone tells you can't, you won't. And then, they have to come in and learn from you. That is so amazing. I remember people in high school that treated me less than and mocked me and made fun of me. Some of Liz's ex-boyfriends reach out. Dude, your life is great. You got a great ex. All these things. I'm like, thanks. I don't even know what to say. I'm douched out, but it's like I'm making fans. I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, your ex-boyfriend, old douchey out there. He's hitting me up saying he likes you. Really? Yeah. I'm flattered. Because I'm a happy dude. I try to stay in category 1 a lot, and I think that. I think that's exciting to hear that you overcome that, and it gives you fuel. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, they need that fuel. They need that extra push sometimes. Otherwise, it feels like a job. You need to be motivated by people telling you can't or you won't. And that's what this world is built on. That's what this country has been built on, is everybody saying you can't and you won't. And there's no way, and you've proven people wrong somehow. It doesn't need to be your whole mission, but it is fun to have those exits along your growth and go, there's another fan now. That's a great feeling. So let's talk about your guys' business during the pandemic. And you guys talked about, the Brownstone Pancake Factory, what you guys did during the pandemic. What happened? The pandemic hits, and then you guys start doing what exactly? Because that's the exciting stuff on how you were creative to keep things moving and keeping your employees working. But share that story.
So when the pandemic happened and we had the federal lockdowns, it pretty much destroyed all of the businesses, right? Because in the very beginning, everyone was afraid to even go outside. Yeah. There was no indoor dining, and I decided, because it was during the peak of sort of hospitalizations and stuff, I closed both restaurants for 2.5 weeks and spent time with my family, which was tremendous. All my employees that weren't working during those 2.5 weeks, since this is pre-stimulus, were still employed by me. So I found things for them to do. We repainted, we did stuff at the restaurant. We weren't working, but we just had the restaurants closed.
Deep cleaning.
And during that time, I just was thinking, going back to, creating those experiences. What can I do during this pandemic to make people happy? What experience can I give them? And that's where this whole DIY brunch box kit came about, where I said, let's deliver these. Initially it was curbside pickup. It was
locally, yeah.
And then we started delivering them, shipping them nationwide, where it's like, you play with the kids and you're designing your waffles, your French toast, and your pancakes. And something that I thought was a great idea forget it. It was crazy. And we're still selling to this day. I just left the restaurant now. I think we had about 40, 50 boxes going out today, for shipping.
Well, I think what really set it off was that Gold Belly, which is very hard to get into, picked us up. around this time, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit after like that month.
Yeah, it was right before the holidays. And then what spawned from that was Car Hop, because now we're limited to no outdoor dining. I mean, no indoor dining.
Yeah.
There wasn't even outdoor dining,
Right.
because New Jersey and New York were really crazy during that time. And what I would notice is on the weekends, because we were only doing takeout and delivery, I would see families come. They would pick up their food curbside,
and in their car,
and they would just sit in the parking lot. And that's when I started thinking of the old movies. I started thinking of Car Hop.
Diner style.
Vanessa and I were collaborating. We're like, we're going to have roller skate girls. We're going to have a DJ, and we're going to make this fun. I marked off the parking lot so each car was socially distanced. And Jayson, and thankfully, because of our social media platform, we were able to sort of advertise it pretty easily. And as soon as I mentioned it, it was a Monday or Tuesday, we were literally fully booked for months to come.
So awesome.
And
so there was like hour time slots, and you had to finish in that hour, and then the next group of cars.
And it was just so much fun. My staff absolutely loved it. All these young kids running out in the parking lot. We had music blasting. It was really, and it was.
I want to go. I'm here in Michigan. I'm like, I didn't get an invite. Keep going. That sounds fun.
It was tremendous because we have so many videos and pictures where you see young kids.
I busted my ass in the middle of the parking lot in real estate.
Just seeing little kids and families having their shakes. It was, and again, going back to what business is all about. It gave us relevance during a time where restaurants weren't relevant. It gave us sort of we had this cult following because every single one of those families truly appreciated what we did during that time.
And they would reach out and DM us and saying what you're doing is amazing for the community. So that fuels Bobby even more because he's like, oh my God.
I mean, I gave a lot of local restaurants, my Car Hop trays because they wanted to do it as well because I wanted to help them out. The amount of people that have reached out to me, restaurant owners, just appreciating some of the stuff we did on Instagram and some of the ideas.
And what we did with the first responders were really great. We would deliver stuff to the hospitals and that you just feel like community.
Yeah, no, it was an opportunity to really sort of break into the community at a next level, and I think the rewards will be exponential, right? Because people will always remember that and they'll appreciate that. Just this past winter. We spent over $20,000 in Christmas lights to light up our Englewood Cliffs location to kind of create this winter wonderland. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really make a return on that. But what I did was I created a place where little kids could go to because there was nothing to do in the area where they can take pictures by Santa Claus and do all these things. And I already told my wife, next year is going to be bigger. We're going to go even bigger next year with more lights, more, And
it was pretty big, Jayson.
It was, but it made me happy. It made me excited just to see all the kids and all the families happy. And so
movie nights.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing I almost forgot. We did drive-in movie nights where people would park and they would listen to the movie via their car radio. Again, for social distancing purposes.
You had a popcorn machine, and then you place your order, and then when you're watching the movie, you eat your food, and then.
Did you have one of those big inflatable movie screens?
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. So look, you guys, I want to jump in real fast. So before it's hot, you mentioned Vanessa. People think it's luck. It's not luck. There's no such thing as luck.
Yep.
What it is it's being creative and wanting to make a difference. It's chasing the right thing. And Bobby's infectious to seeing smiles, to creating experience. Vanessa, you're infectious to creating an experience. They're proud of what you've done with their home or their business. Right. And that is the beauty of this. And the fact that you said it clearly. You don't make a return on the 20,000, but you got so excited you're going bigger next year.
Yeah.
I got chills because that's what it's about. Yeah. You're empowering and changing lives every day. You can't buy that. That is success, and people forget that. People think it's just about your bank account. When you impact people in a time that they need to be impacted, depression is out there. People are sad. They're stuck in their homes. They don't know if they're coming or going. You allowed a place for people to come together as a community and kids and have fun, and that's so amazing. That's so much bigger than how you were very modest. You're flipping pancakes. You really are creating an experience and a community outlet for people and a memory for people.
Jayson, thank you. I admire you because I think we need more people like you out there. My team meetings with my staff are very inspirational. They're driven by not just making Brownstone better, but making each individual person that works with me better. And like you said, in that sort of group one personality, I am all about making everyone around me super successful. Not even for my benefit, but for their. And that's something that is so gratifying to me as I get older. And a quick short story. I was at a place, years ago, right before I met Vanessa, where I was not in a good place, and my sister bought me a seminar to go see Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, actually in Fort Lauderdale. I went by myself. That was a life-changing experience for me. I don't know what it was, but I just super connected to his message. And ever since then, people like you, and there's so many out there that I follow and listen to, because that motivation, inspiration you need on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And I provide that to the people that work for me. I wish nothing but the best for them, whether it's with me or without me.
Which is true. I listen to his speeches; they're pretty impressive.
But it's so rewarding for me, just giving that energy out to people and letting them know that they can be anything they really want to be, but they have to, empower themselves to do that. And because I feel, if I can look back at my childhood, I had a tremendous sort of, parents and family that were super hard workers. And that was what kind of made me who I am today. But, growing up, going to school, we didn't have inspirational speakers or people talking to us about that. And, Vanessa tells this story about the woman at that design association. She was strong enough to fight back. But there's a lot of people in this country and around the world that might have destroyed her career. Mm-hmm. That negativity, without people like you out there that sort of tell them, no, you push through that kind of crap, could have messed up their career. And it might have scared them, and they might have felt like they were failures, and they're in the wrong industry. And to me, that's why these messages and these podcasts and these things are so important, because this is what really motivates people to kind of be whoever they really want to be.
No, I appreciate the kind words. And I love Tony Robbins as well. I listen to him. I listen to David Coggins. There's certain people I get inspired by and get excited. And even me growing up, I didn't have any inspiration. They didn't have the resources we have today. And I think it's important. We all need messages. We all need to be motivated. And I think what you're doing is great. And one of the most exciting things I do in my business is give the motivational speech for our sales team once a month and our install production team once a month. And it sounds like you get to do those speeches all the time.
Love it. I love it.
It's the best feeling because you light up the room. They're ready to go. You feel like, hey, you know what? I got my energy that's so great right now, and I was able to share it. Now they're going to have a great day. And that's a great feeling. So what you're doing is really great and admirable. And I think it's exciting and how you guys partnered together. And sorry, Vanessa, that you fell on skates. I wish I could have seen that. I haven't roller skated in 20 years, but that sounds like that would have been really fun. So let's talk a bit about your business, Vanessa. During the pandemic, what did you guys have to go through?
So when it was inching in the beginning, and I was like, okay, I literally took my calendar out, and what I do is we get daily questionnaire. We have a questionnaire form about our design services. So I literally printed every questionnaire that I've gotten within that month, right? And I just started calling back clients. So it would literally, if they wanted to design a 2x2 niche in a wall, I was like, okay, I'll take it. Like literally went down that list. So then I got inundated with so much work, typical things that I wouldn't, not that I don't have the time for or wouldn't do, but things that I know my company can handle. I know what we have to make a minute in order for the company to run. So sometimes those smaller projects don't fit our finances or what have you. I literally took on everything and I put it on me. And what I did was did everything Zoom. I did a walkthrough with Zoom. I did a ton of Google Meets, and I was able to push out mostly everything virtual because and then my team wasn't here, so I was literally in the office pulling samples and doing their work and my work. It was difficult, but I was able to maintain the offices, maintain my entire staff. I didn't let one person go. And then after that, we just started getting inundated with people who hated their basements, wanted a man cave, wanted an office, wanted a student center, wanted in an individual house because they wanted to be away from their wife. Like all these things because people are in the home together for so long that they wanted segregation from their family. And those
I think also though, like when you spend the amount of time that you did in your home because of the lockdowns, all of a sudden you realize how important your home is
Yeah.
to the family unit.
Yeah,
Right?
you want change of scenery. You want it to be different.
Yeah.
You're looking like, oh, I need to fix this. This looks bad. I got time now. Let me get this done.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So, I think, you probably got way busier because of COVID.
COVID, yeah. So, and then what was happening, all my clients were fleeing New York and going to their Hamptons home or their down the shore home, New Jersey home, that they never put so much energy in their shore houses because it's a summer thing. Who cares? That's a little beat up. We can take care of it next year. And they always leave it to the wayside. But now this is their prime residence. They want to finish it. They want to make sure that they spend their holidays because now they're spending their holidays there, which typically they'll spend it in Manhattan or vice versa. So now their homes in Manhattan that they never got to, we also started making over because now they're in their Hamptons house full time, so they can go through a renovation for 3 months in a Manhattan apartment. So it was these type of clients that we started getting in, and our past clients, a ton of past clients came through, and we're like, okay, we're getting a new house. We just bought a house. We sold our Manhattan apartment, and then it was snowball effect. So now we're in a position where it's great, but now we're so inundated with work. Now we're just kind of catching up.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it is a good problem. Here's what I've been noticing during this pandemic. Those that didn't quit, those that weren't broken, like that lady could have like Bobby said, that lady could have broke most people, would have crushed their dreams and feelings, and that would have been that, right? And you were strong enough to say, oh, hell no, I'm more motivated. And then the roles turned. But when things are tough people get through it. But when good people do good things and don't quit, we're rewarded. Both of your businesses exploded. Right?
Absolutely.
In a time where a lot of businesses are struggling, it's unfortunate for them. And some of them they can't control. But when you can control it, and when you can be creative, and when you can make a change and be able to pivot, like you two did, great things happen. And I think that's so exciting and important because, we don't know when the next big bad thing's going to happen. Eventually this thing will go away. I thought it'd go away right after the election. I guess I was wrong. It'll be soon. Okay. That's my poke for the day, fans. So it'll be soon. I'm waiting for Georgia votes to come in. Let's see what happens. But I'm just kidding. But, when things get better, and they will, we don't know what the next big thing's going to happen. We had 08 with the crack. You have all these things. We all have to be ready. As entrepreneurs, as husbands, as wives, as fathers, we have to be ready and prepared. But what we can't do is quit and not have hope and not be able to pivot. And I think both of you really showed a kind of class that's missing and more people need to pay attention to, of not taking no for an answer, changing, being creative, using your artistic thoughts of, wow, we could do something like this, and then executing it. You didn't just talk about it. You executed on both aspects. Both of you did, which is amazing that both of your business are flourishing, and we're still in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys have how many kids?
One.
We just have one beautiful boy.
One beautiful. Okay, so
we have 2 fur kids.
And we have two little dogs. Yeah.
yeah, 2 fur babies. So what does your son think of Brownstone?
Oh, he loves it. Daddy's place.
Daddy's place. They call it Daddy's place.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of your inspiration, Bobby, comes from, seeing what lights his eyes up. You're like, maybe I can help some of these other kids out. I mean, I'm sure that's part of the inspiration.
It's pretty easy.
There.
Chocolates, sweets, M&Ms. Pretty.
So you guys sent me that do-it-yourself kit. We loved it. Like, it was fun. It was exciting. The food is amazing. Where can people find you on social media, the website, and your location? Where can they find out about that?
So right now we have 2 locations. One's in Edgewater, New Jersey, and then the other one's in Engle Cliffs, New Jersey, both in Bergen County. We're going to be opening up one in Brick Township in Ocean County, which is down the shore. It's Brownstone Pancakefactory.com. Our Instagram handle is Brownstone Pancake Factory. We just launched our TikTok account, which has gone viral. We have like over 110,000 followers and millions of views. It's amazing. And as far as the shipping boxes, you can either go to Goldbelly for nationwide shipping or to brownstonebrunchbox.com. We formed essentially a separate entity just for the brunch boxes. And this mobile truck that we're actually going to go see tomorrow, the reason why I had that commissioned is because I was getting a lot of phone calls where people wanted to have parties for their kids, birthday parties, but because of the pandemic, they can't have those gatherings. So they said, hey, can you come to our house and sell shakes and pancakes to the kids? And that's where this truck comes. So, we
That's
have
amazing.
we have a lot of parties lined up for the spring and summer, which we're excited about. And
we started seeing a lot of the drive-bys, like the happy birthday drive-bys.
Yeah.
So that kind of sparked in us, like, how about if it's like a drive-by, but they actually pick up a shake, but we're inside the truck and they're driving by this party and you get shakes to go, and this could be like a whole thing experience.
And it's great marketing, just to have like a cool truck. I'm excited just to drive it around. To be honest with you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's nothing like driving your brand around. Trust me. Especially your brand that makes me hungry every time I see something. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
I'll tell you though, our son, because we do work a lot, he appreciates what we do, I think, right? Like he knows that we're going to work. We instill that in him. Dada's going to work, mama's going to work. And I think, because a lot of people say, hey, you guys are always working. Like, how is that raising Telly? But I actually look at it from the different perspective, is that he's going to grow up knowing, like, this is what we do. We hustle, we do what we do, we grind. And then when we do spend family time together,
it's quality.
It's real quality time.
I agree. Quality over quantity every single time. Because there's a lot of people don't work or stay at home and don't pay attention to their kids. And,
exactly.
As long as you're working, you shouldn't feel guilty about it as long as you make the time quality.
Yes.
I'm a big believer in that too. I think that's amazing. And, Vanessa, how can they find your business and reach out to you?
Vanessa Deleon.
And besides see you on TV all the time, go ahead.
VanessaDeleon.com. And then my handle is VDA Designs, like Vanessa Deleon Associates, _ designs with an S.
Okay. Any new shows you got going on soon?
I'm going to do another open house. We're scouting for a house now. So, yeah, just open house on DC currently.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. Well,
stuff that I'm doing with the mortgage guy. It's called Disruptive Network, and on YouTube and Hulu. So I'll put the link on my social, and maybe you can tag it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, Bobby, if you do decide to franchise that, you let me know. I might be interested, down the road in a couple of years here on the Florida side of that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to get into that business, but I'd love to be a part of something like that. I think your business is amazing.
Thank you.
Then Vanessa, if we find a great house in Florida,
I'm going.
You're going. Yeah, you guys gotta move part-time to Florida. I'm telling you, we
Yeah,
need some cool
yeah.
neighbors down there. We don't know many people down there, so we're excited about the move. But thank you both for what you guys have done. In 2020, stepping up in the community, growing your businesses, helping your employees out, empowering new people, and then in 2021, you're continuing to do that grind. I appreciate both of you coming on the show, sharing your story, and getting out there and getting these listeners more motivated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jayson.
Bam! That concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!